Looking for an easy and tasty treat for Halloween? Well, look no further because today we're making Jack-o'-Lantern Linzer Cookies. Hi there foodie friends, my name is Carly and welcome back to my channel, Adventures in Yum. We're starting by whipping up our pumpkin pie filling. I shared this recipe in a recent pumpkin hand pie video, so make sure to check out the video description below for the recipe video link. Once we have all of our ingredients in the bowl, we whisk this mixture until everything is well combined, and then pour the mixture onto a parchment paper lined tray, smooth it out, and then bake this at 375 degrees Fahrenheit or 191 degrees Celsius for about 30 to 40 minutes. We want the pumpkin filling to just be slightly browned on top, and it should be thicker and no longer runny. Let this cool for about 20 to 30 minutes, then scrape it into an airtight container and store it in the fridge to let it cool for at least a few hours or overnight. Next, we're making our shortbread cookie dough. As I've mentioned before, my favorite recipe is actually a Martha Stewart shortbread recipe, so that's the one I'm using here. I'll link the YouTube video featuring Thomas Joseph demonstrating the recipe in the description. Sometimes these cookies can come across as a little too salty, so I sometimes slightly reduce the amount of salt I add. Once the dough is put together, we add it onto a piece of parchment paper, place another piece of parchment paper on top, and then roll it out between 1/8 and 1/4 of an inch, or about 3.2 to 6.4 millimeters in thickness. We then place these on a flat surface in the refrigerator to chill for about 20 to 30 minutes, or even an hour, or even overnight if you want to do this ahead of time. Now that our dough is completely chilled, we're ready to cut out our cookies. We use a pumpkin-shaped cookie cutter to cut the cookies, and then we make sure to re-roll the scraps, chill it, and cut more pumpkins. For half of the cookies, we're using a paring knife to cut jack-o'-lantern faces. Just have fun with it, and you can make either one design or a variety of fun faces. If you don't want to make jack-o'-lantern faces, you can simply make these into pumpkin sandwich cookies instead of Halloween jack-o'-lantern Linzer cookies. Once they're ready to go, we're using a fork to poke some holes in the regular cookies that will be on the bottom of our Linzer cookies. Now we're baking them at 300 degrees Fahrenheit or 149 degrees Celsius for about 40 minutes. Once they're done, allow them to cool completely. Before we assemble our Jack-o'-Lantern Linzer cookies, if you're getting value out of this video, then please make sure to hit that like button, click subscribe, and ring that bell to be notified about my latest video. Now, it's time to put these together. We're using a piping bag filled with our pumpkin filling and piping it onto the bottom cookies, about 1/8 of an inch or about 3.2 millimeters in thickness. Of course, you can use a spoon to add the filling. I simply prefer to use a piping bag. Then we add our top cookie and gently press down just a little to get the cookie to stick. If you press too hard, the pumpkin filling will squish out of the jack-o'-lantern design. You can leave it like that, but I carefully remove it to give it a cleaner finish. For an alternative design, you can dust powdered sugar over the top of the cookies before adding them on top of the pumpkin filling, as is the traditional Linzer cookie method, but I decided to skip that step this time for a slightly less sweet cookie, so just do whichever you prefer. These cookies are seriously so good. The pumpkin pie filling is nice and creamy and has that great pumpkin pie flavor, but then the cookie itself is slightly softened on the inside from that pumpkin pie filling, and then the outer part still stays crunchy, so you get this really awesome mixture of textures and flavors. They are so good. Let me know in the comments if you give these a try and how you like them. If you're interested in checking out some of the products I used in this video, then please make sure to check out that video description below for some of their Amazon links. Thank you so much for joining me today, foodie friends. I'll see you next time for another spooky, yummy adventure.